All right, Shalom Aleichem, Baruchim Abayim to our Wednesday class on Yalkut Yosef. Today we're going to begin Hilchot Kedusha, followed by the Hilchot of Nesiat Kapayim of the Berkat Cohanim. So Hilchot Kedusha, first of all, is Kedusha, right? When the Chazan says Nakdishach and we answer with him, is that a mitzvah from the Torah or is that a mitzvah from Chachamim? So you should know that there's an opinion that says that it's a mitzvah from the Torah, just like Tefillin is a mitzvah from the Torah. Kedusha is a mitzvah from the Torah. That opinion, hey, Baruch Habanik. That opinion leans on the pasuk, v'nitkdashti b'toch b'nei Israel, that the kedusha is done within the people of Israel. That's why kedusha you can't do it unless you have 10. You need to have a minyan, and that pasuk hints that it's a mitzvah from the Torah. Others hold that it's a mitzvah only from Chachamim. Either way, that's our topic right now, the mitzvah of kedusha. Giacomo, welcome to you as well. Baruch haba. So when the Chazan reaches Kadosh, 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 what happens if somebody in the crowd is in the middle of Amidah? We've spoken about this before, but it happens. It's a quick minyan and people are still praying. What happens over there? So by saying the Kedusha, depending on where they are, he could be mutzi those Yedei Chovah. How does he do it? He says the Kadosh Kadosh, and he has to have them in mind. Again, we've spoken about this before. If it's a Chazan that, is not used to being a Chazan and he doesn't have in mind, we're not sure that he's Motzi Acherim Yedei Chovah. But let's assume that he's a proper Chazan that learned the Yalkut and he knows that he has to be Motzi Yedei Chovah. So if I'm in the middle of Amidah, I'm quiet and I listen to the Chazan. Why is this important? Because I need to hear the words of the Chazan to be Yotzei Yedei Chovah. So if the Chazan is going to say, Kadosh, 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 quietly, while the rest of the crowd is also saying Kadosh Kadosh and they're louder than him, I can't be Yotzei Yedei Chovah because I did not hear him. Therefore, there are two options if you're a Chazan. Option number one, be louder than the crowd. It's not so difficult. Yalkut Yosef says even if you could use a speaker, it's okay as long as you would be heard even without the speaker. Be louder than the crowd, option number one. Option number two, wait until the crowd finishes and then start Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh when there's complete silence until the end of the Kedusha. That's the job of a proper Chazan. What do we do as a crowd while we do Kedusha? Do we have to close our eyes? Do we not? Is there a source to that? So there is a source to closing our eyes in Kedusha. It's brought down in the Tur and in the Rama as well. The Rama is the rabbi of the Ashkenazim, and the Tur is the son of the Rosh, which we've learned about as well, one of the three pillars of Halacha that the Shulchan Aruch leads on. And they both bring down in the name of the Midrashim, in the name of the Midrash, that we should close our eyes at that time. And what happens in Shemaim when we close our eyes? It brings the Geula closer, right? The salvation, the redemption, and it gives nachat to Hashem. When I read this halacha, I said, what is the word for nachat in English? Anybody know? I couldn't think of a word that explains what nachat is. You know what nachat is? Maybe in Persian there's a word for it. When you bless someone to have nachat from your children. Nachat means, okay. There's no word for it. I don't know how to say it in another language, but Hashem and Shemaim has nachat when we close our eyes, and it brings the Geula, the redemption, a little bit closer. So definitely try to close your eyes during Kedusha. What about raising our feet? Kadosh, 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 and we jump with our feet. What about that? So there's a custom that is brought down in the holy books. It's called Sefer Hechalot, and the Tur brings it as well. That Hashem said to the Yordei Merkava. This is some sort of spiritual term that I don't really understand what it means, but Hashem said, please teach my children that in the time that they say Kadosh, 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 you enehem nesuim lamarom, their eyes should be towards the sky, v'nosim atzmam lemala, and they should carry them up, meaning that's the source of the jumps. We do 1, 2, 3, right? That's where it comes from.
What about on the rest for on
Right.
the other parts?
So it's brought down that the custom is to do for the rest as well. Those jumps are brought down. It's brought down in the customs. Guys, give me 1 second. I think my daughter needs to just want to make sure everything's okay. Hi, מיכאלי, הכל בסדר? You finished your chug? You have to call mommy. I'm in the middle of a shiur. I'm sorry. Okay, bye. My apologies. My apologies. You have to give me 30 more seconds. Hi, Jonah. Oh, you want to pick her up, or she just called me? Ah, okay, Baruch Hashem. Sorry. God bless you. Okay, bye. Mechila, I wanted to make sure my daughter's not left on the street. Okay, Baruch Hashem. Siman Kuf Kaf Va. Wait, did somebody ask a question or was it answered? Mechila. All right, let's continue. Ima Chazan itztared. Now, what happens? We spoke about this last time. The Chazan starts coughing up. His voice is not coming. This happened to me in Great Neck. I was in one of our shuls. All of a sudden, the Chazan, his voice did not work. The words weren't coming out. The Gabai came and started continuing instead of him. If that ever happened, I'm pointing this out because you would think, when is this ever going to happen? I've seen it with my own eyes. So once you learn something, you notice why this could happen. So it could happen. What do we do? So the guy that's exchanging the Chazan, ideally just continues from wherever the other Chazan stopped. But what if the other Chazan stopped in the middle of a beracha? In that case, he has to go back to the beginning of bracha, which means he says, "Slach lanu aviratanu, mechol lanu malkenu," and then no words came out. The new Chazan comes and says, "Slach lanu avinu," etc. No problem. But what happens? Let's see who can answer this question. If that choking up scene happened during the first three berachot, that happened in Magen Avraham or Mechai Metim or Ata Kadosh, what would be the halacha then? What do we tell the new Chazan to do?
Start from the beginning?
That's a solid guess. That's a solid guess because what have we learned in the past? That the first three brachot are one entity, they're one unit. So once you break them, then you have to go back to the beginning. So that is the halacha, but only for the first two brachot. I asked a little bit of a trick question because really for Magen Avraham Mechai Metim, if you stopped somewhere around there, you have to go back to the beginning. But if you already said Kedusha, Kedusha is like a stopper. Kedusha created some sort of separation between the first two brachot to the last brachot. So if he already said Kedusha and concluded and finished the Kedusha, but he just did not do the part of Ata Kadosh, V'Shimcha Kadosh, U'Kedoshim B'chol Melech Lebuch, Hashem Hakel HaKadosh, then all he has to repeat is the third beracha. All right? Because Kedusha is like a stopper. So anywhere from Kedusha, you continue from there. But from beforehand, if it happens, this is a very specific case that will be more rare to happen, that in the first three brachot he gets choked up, but things may happen, and either way, it's good to learn the halacha. Now, again with the Chazan, what happens during Aseret Yemei Teshuvah? Instead of saying HaMelech HaKadosh, he says Hakel HaKadosh. All right? Now, halacha, just generally, you should know this. Anything that you remember, toch kedei dibur. Toch kedei dibur means while I'm speaking. If it happens while I'm speaking, which means 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, it's okay. You could fix it on the spot. But the Yalkut Yosef asks, what happens if you remembered only after, let's say, 10 seconds, all right? He finished Hakel HaKadosh, and now what does he have to do? So the halacha is, he has to go back to Ata Kadosh. You would say, no, in Aseret Yemei Teshuvah, if I'm praying alone, what do I have to do if I forgot to say Melech HaKadosh and 10 seconds passed? I have to go back to the beginning of Amidah. But if you're the Chazan, since you had the Kedusha in the middle, the Kedusha creates a separation, as we just mentioned, the same idea. Therefore, you only have to go back to the part after Kedusha, which means Ata Kadosh, Shemcha Kadosh, and then say HaMelech HaKadosh. So is that clear? The Kedusha is like a stopper. The three are one entity when I'm alone, but when I'm a Chazan and I have something to stop it in the middle, then it's considered stopped. All right. Now regarding Cohanim, what happens when we do not have Cohanim? I'm sure all of you know this halacha, but the Chazan is supposed to call out Yevachecha Hashem v'yishmerecha, Yer Hashem panav elecha v'yichuneka. And at the end, some people say this, some people don't, but you should know that our custom, as well as the Rambam and Shulchan Aruch, they say that the right thing to do is also to say V'samu et shemi al bnei Yisrael v'ani avarechem. So don't just do what you usually do with the Cohanim. Also add that pasuk. What is the importance of that pasuk? The importance of that pasuk, what does it mean literally? V'samu et shemi, and you should put my name, says Hashem, al bnei Israel, on the people of Israel, and I shall bless them. which means we think the Cohanim are saying the bracha, but the Cohanim are really there to transfer the bracha to Am Yisrael. So this line at the end of Berkat Cohanim is kind of a stamp. Yalkut Yosef says it's kind of a signature saying Hashem agrees to this Berkat Cohanim, and therefore it's important to say that as well. And now we get to the halachot, kuf kaf chet, the halachot of nesiat kapayim, the halachot of Berkat Cohanim, technically. Now what happens if chas v'chalila, there is a Kohen that is weak, and he's not going to be able to go stand on the stage? Does he have to leave the Bet Knesset, or can he stay in the Bet Knesset because he has a good excuse? I'm weak, I'm exempt from going up to the stage. Halacha is he has to leave. Even if he's not able to do it because of weakness, he has to leave. But if someone is healthy and he says, I don't feel like doing Berkat Kohanim, and he leaves, and I've seen that as well, unless, there's a reason that I'm not aware of that maybe he cannot do it. But picture to yourself a Kohen that says, no, I'm not in the mood of doing Berkat Kohanim right now, and he steps outside. On him, Chachamim say, Eino mevarech ve'eino mitbarech, which means not only does he not say the Berkat Kohanim, also the bracha doesn't apply to him. We learn that when Kohanim are doing the bracha, it's really Hashem through them blessing everybody. And of course the Kohanim getting it as well, because it goes through them. As we learned once, everything that goes through you to get to someone else also affects you as well. Say the Chachamim that he's not going to be blessed with the people of Israel if he runs away from this mitzvah. So kapayim, it's a mitzvah from the Torah. We're going to get to that, Be'ezrat Hashem. But what if it's not a Kohen that is weak? What if it's a Kohen that is pasul? You know what a Kohen pasul is? Can anybody give me an example of a Kohen that is pasul? Pasul means he's exempt. He's not allowed to do Berkat Kohanim. Who is that?
Maybe he had sex with his wife or something like this, or
So a Kohen pasul, the Torah says something in that if he marries a grusha, if he marries someone that is divorced, a Kohen is forbidden, right, to marry a woman that is divorced. Isha zona v'chala lo yikach, v'isha grusha meisha, and a woman that is divorced, he should not take. So if he takes a woman that's divorced, or even a woman that's not divorced, but she was born from a marriage of a man that was a Kohen and married a divorced woman, which was a forbidden marriage, and that daughter is also forbidden for the Kohen. By the way, the halacha is, the Shulchan Aruch says that if that daughter marries in Israel, and now they have a child, that child is fully kosher, which means that child can marry a Kohen. But a woman that was divorced, she's forbidden to marry a Kohen, and she married a Kohen, not only did she do something wrong, but she passed it down to the next generation. And if it's a generation of boys, then that boy after boy forever is stuck. It's on their name. It's called halal, right? So a Kohen that is pasul, there are other reasons for a Kohen to be pasul. There's certain
missing limbs or eye.
So you're talking about physical mumim. We're going to get to that. Physical imperfections that may exempt him from the bracha. But that doesn't mean he's pasul. You understand? He's exempt. Pasul means, no, he's done something wrong to put him in that category called pasul. You're out. You're not allowed to, right? That's a little bit different. What you're saying is true. The Kohen that has certain problems, we'll see soon, physical problems, we don't want him to go up to the stage. Soon we'll see why. It's very interesting. But that Kohen that is pasul, does he have to step out? The answer is no. You know why he doesn't have to step out? Because by staying in, he's not doing anything wrong. Because he is pasul. In a way, it's kind of shameful for him. You're a Kohen, why are you here? And the Berkat Kohanim is not happening. But maybe Chazal said, no, the shame already happened. You married a woman that you're not supposed to marry. Or we'll see certain averot that a Kohen pasul has. Therefore, you're not supposed to go up. You're exempt from it, so you don't need to step out. He who needs to step out is he who is allowed to go up there and is not doing it. But a Kohen pasul does not have to stay out. And regarding stepping out, the Yosef points over here, that if I started the Chazara, I'm the Chazan, and there were 10 people, we were all good. And now 2-3 people left to do Berkat Kohanim, so they went to wash their hands, and the Levi went with them, all right? And now, when I get to Berkat Kohanim, there are no 10 people there anymore. The Kohen came back, but the Levi stayed playing with his phone. So now we're 9. Do I continue Berkat Kohanim or do I not continue Berkat Kohanim? What do you say?
Yes.
Yes.
I have a yes from Igal, I have a yes from Giacomo. Anybody want to think differently or you agree with these good-looking men? Okay, I see everybody agrees with you. So we're going to say a chidush. Even though usually we say that once you begin something, you continue. That's the halacha of Amidah. But regarding Berkat Cohanim, it cannot be said without 10 people. Which means that if I haven't started Berkat Cohanim yet, and I don't have 10, I cannot say Berkat Cohanim. However, if I did start Berkat Cohanim, and in the middle of Berkat Cohanim, the guy with the phone walks out and plays with his phone, and now we're only 9, then, as you said, I would be allowed to continue. But there's kind of a stop point as I get to Berkat Cohanim before I say Cohanim. I have to make sure that I'm 10. There's no 10 in there, we cannot start. But what you said is right when I already started Berkat Cohanim. So you still get the points. Okay. Now, if the Chazan is a Kohen, and there is no other Kohen, this happens to me sometimes. There's a Bet Knesset here in Ra'anana, where the Chazan is a very important Admor. Admor is like, like Lavdi, like the Rebbe Melubavitch, they call him Admor. He's like a head of a Chassidut, So he's also a Kohen. So he's always the Chazan, because it's his Bet Knesset, and he also does the Berkat Kohanim. So sometimes he's the only Kohen. So what do? Am I supposed to go up on the stage, or can the Kohen stay on his little bima downstairs? So the answer is that if the bima, for example, let's look at Sharei Rachamim, all right? You all know the shul. In Sharei Rachamim, there's a stage in the middle, right? If the Chazan is saying his Amidah from over there, then while he's going to do the Kohanim, there's still going to be people in front of him. So it's a problem, and therefore he cannot stay over there, all right? So if he's the only Kohen, then he would have to go up to the stage, say the Berkat Kohanim, and then come back down and go back to the bima. But if he's saying the tefillah from a bima that is like all the way in the front and all the people are behind him, then he doesn't have to go up to the stage. He's already before everybody. It's important halacha, you should know that when the Kohanim are doing Berkat Kohanim, if we wanted to we want to get part of the bracha, we have to be behind them. So sometimes I like sitting in the front in certain shuls. So I look at the floor, I look at the line of where the Kohanim are standing, and I make sure that wherever I'm standing is a little bit behind the line at least, so that I'm considered part of the people getting the blessing. But if you're standing before, if you're like a front row sitter, so you see the rabbis that sometimes sit with the face to the crowd, they're not, if they stay in their spot, they're not going to be part of Berkat Kohanim. So what they usually do is they take a few steps backwards. That's a requirement. Until when, one more thing. A Kohen came to our minyan, and now the other minyan says, we don't have a Kohen. Can you come with us? And the guy already folded his talit, and he's on his way to the coffee machine. He told him, no, please, we want to do another Berkat Kohanim. Can he go up again? I think you all know the answer. We've seen this happen. The answer is he goes up again. But what is the chidush? The chidush is that he's going to say a bracha on his talit. He took it off 1 minute ago. No, we need you as a Kohen in that shul. He says a bracha, and I want to ask you, from what we've learned in the past, tell me now, why does he say a bracha on the talit? You know this. Usually,
because he was leaving.
Very good. So he was leaving, and therefore what?
Therefore, it's finished. Now he has starting again, so he has to do again.
Exactly. Meaning his mind.
He didn't keep in his mind. He didn't keep in his mind that he was going to.
Mindset. Usually, we give 30 minutes, so that even if your mind is set on it, but if it's longer than 30 minutes, you have to say a bracha. But if on Yom Kippur there's a 15-minute break, I put off my talit. I go, I was going to say go get a drink, but it's Yom Kippur. I go, whatever, I learned something. I come back into the Bet Knesset. 15 minutes pass, half an hour didn't pass yet. I don't say bracha. Only if more than half an hour passes, I say bracha. But if I didn't have in mind to wear the talit again, this is what we've learned. This is what I was trying to hint to you, that even if only 1 minute passed, I have to say bracha again. And the talit is me'akev, meaning a Kohen without a talit cannot go up there. It's not like a chazan without a talit. Okay, it's okay, right? No. A Kohen has to have a talit, or else he cannot do the Berkat Kohanim. By the way, part of the reasoning of the talit, and soon we'll touch these points, is that we don't want the crowd to be distracted and to look at the Kohen. The Kohen, he does some sort of actions with his hands, and we want them to focus on the beracha. So the talit is there also to cover Also that it's not seen what he does. We were very concerned about this distraction. We'll see soon, Be'ezrat Hashem. Until what point can the Kohen go to wash his hands and to go up to Berkat Cohanim? That's why I'm asking, because if the Kohen is a big tzaddik and he's praying for a long time, and the Chazan is already getting close to Cohanim, now he wants to move his feet towards the bima, or he got distracted. In the Chazarah, he did what he shouldn't do. He started learning in the middle of Chazarat Hashatz. People think I'm a tzaddik doing that. There are sources, at least for the Ashkenazim, that say that, if you're that type of Talmid Chacham, you would be allowed to do it. But for us, the right way is not to look at any other paper, even if it's kadosh, even if it's mitzvah, even if it's learning. You have to have kavanah with the Chazan, and that's But he made a mistake, he looked at something and he got carved, and now he's a Kohen, and the Kohen is getting close to Berkat Kohanim. Until what time, or what point of the Chazarah is he allowed to still take a step towards the bima? So the dry halacha is until Retzeh. Once the Chazan says Retzeh, he shouldn't, that's it, he missed his Berkat Kohanim if he didn't take a step. The step doesn't have to be towards the bima. Even if he takes a step towards outside the washing station, and the Chazan is saying Retzeh, he's going very slow with his sulir, so he's going to have enough time to come back, right? So that's fine, as long as he took a step towards the bima, even though it's not really towards the bima, but towards the action of Berkat Kohanim, it's sufficient. This is the halakha that Yalkut Yosef brings here. But I saw later in the book, he mentions that this is lekatchila, to begin with. But if he still wants to go up to Berkat Kohanim, as long as the Chazan didn't chatam et bracha. Chatam means seal the bracha. Says Baruch Ata Hashem, HaMachzir Shechinato L'Tzion. Once the crowd says modim, then definitely he cannot. So lekatchila, to begin with, until Retzeh. Don't move your feet after that. But if you already missed it and you still want to go up, we allow you also until the words modim of the crowd. But once modim of the crowd, everybody agrees, you lost your chance. What do we do with a Kohen Katan? A Kohen that is 8 years old, 10 years old, but he goes with his father up in the bima, he puts on a talit. So we're allowed to le'argil to make him used to this mitzvah. That is very good. But only when he has a partner that is bar mitzvah. But if the father, again, I give this example, went outside for some reason, let's not say play with his phone, let's say he had something to do, and the father left, and now the 8-year-old is there alone. Can he go up and be our Kohen? The answer is no. At Cohanim, you have to have at least one person that is bar mitzvah up there on the stage. But if he's together with his father, he could go up. However, trick question, or maybe not trick question, let's see. If the people on stage, I have kids, young kids, and I only have one that is bar mitzvah, as a chazan, do I say Cohanim? Because the halacha is that the chazan only says Cohanim if there are at least 2 Cohanim. But if there's only one Kohen, he doesn't say Kohen. The Kohen starts on his own. As the Pasuk says, Amor lahem yivarecha Hashem v'yishmerecha. And tell them, then, minimum 2. Is that boy considered in the 2 or not? I saw Steve going like that. Rabotai, Steve is a mini rabbi, he knows all the halachot, and he's right. He is right, Baruch Hashem. We cannot say Kohanim to a young boy under bar mitzvah together with an older person. So in that case, even though there could be a few little kids and one older, you don't say Kohanim. You wait until they begin. Hopefully they know the halakha themselves and will begin and not wait for you and create a commotion. But we're learning here what the halakha is. A lot of the times people say, how come this is the halakha? I saw this person do that. My rabbi always told us, don't learn halachot from people, right? People are people. We make mistakes. Learn halachot from the books, what is required from us. So right here, we're learning the halachot from the books, what needed to be done. All right. Now, regarding the netilah, is it a requirement for the Kohen to wash his hands, or is it sufficient that he already did netilah in the morning and said al netilat yadayim, and since his hands are now most likely clean, then it's a pass? So I'm not mentioning this opinion because this is the opinion of the Rambam, no one less than Maimonides, the Rambam, a crown on our head, that he holds like the custom of Egypt, that we count on the netilah of the morning and the Cohanim do not have to wash their hands. They can go straight up to the stage. That's not our minhag. Our minhag is that the Cohanim wash their hands and the Levim have a big zichut to wash the hands for the Cohanim. Do we have any Levim in the house here? I don't know. You have to.
Yes, you.
Yeah, Baruch Hashem, yeah. So, according to the Sot, to the Kabbalah, there's a big idea behind the Levi pouring the water onto the Cohanim. Some have a custom that if there's no Levi, a Bechor does it. But really, why is it so great when a Levi washes the hands for the Cohanim? So we have to understand what the difference between a Kohen and a Levi is. According to the Kabbalah, a Kohen is a chesed, is mercy. His midah is mercy. That's why the pasuk says, "Tumecha ve'urecha leish chasidecha." That urim ve'tumim, right? The thing that the Kohen puts on his chest, where people would ask questions and the stones would shine. That's called urim ve'tumim. So the pasuk says, "Tumecha ve'urecha leish chasidecha," to the man of chesed, to the man of mercy. Who is it referring to? The Kohen. The Kohen is a man of mercy. The Levi is a man of judgment, a man of din. You don't always see a Levi that is angry, but in spirituality, the concept of a Levi is the concept of din, and the concept of a Kohen is the concept of mercy. That's why the Mekubalim, when they don't have a Kohen to go up to the Torah, halachically, dry halacha, not according to Kabbalah, you're allowed to put a Levi bimkom Kohen. Okay, next in line, the Levi go up. According to Kabbalah, if there's no Kohen, they don't put up a Levi either. Why? Because the Kohen is the mercy. After the mercy comes the judgment. It's fine. He's there to soften the situation. But if we had no Kohen and we begin with the Levi's judgment, that's already too much. The Mekubalim don't do that. According to the Pshat, again, it's allowed. I'm just sharing with you a concept. When it comes to Netilat Yadayim, when the Levi holds the Natlan and he pours it onto the hands of the Kohen, what is he saying? He's saying the judgment, the din, me, is surrendering to the mercy, to the rachamim. So this is a symbolic action. A lot of the Kabbalah is based on symbolic actions that we do down here and have effect up there. So by doing this, as we're making the judgments up there, whatever it is, surrender to the mercy, and we're bringing mercy upon ourselves. So a Levi shouldn't take, I'm saying to myself, but any Levi that hears this, not take lightly the Levim pouring the water on the Cohanim. It's a big deal. It's very important. So as we said, the Rambam holds that it's not a necessity. Our custom that it is a necessity. However, if a Kohen sees that it's a very small minyan and there are 3 Kohanim, and if they leave now, people are gonna, there's not gonna be a many. He's allowed to say, you know what? For now, I'm gonna lean on that Rambam. Says the Yalkut Yosef. You can lean on that Rambam and go up. But if it's a large minyan, everybody's there, enough of people are answering amen. The right thing to do, of course, is to go out and wash your hands. All right, we have another minute. Yeah,
what if he shook someone's hands that didn't necessarily? What if he shook someone's hands and he doesn't know if he washed his hands? This other person, you know what I mean? Does that make him tameh?
So the case should be, let's say a Kohen right now didn't wash his hands yet. Anyway, we tell him to go wash your hands. But a Kohen that already wants to wash his hands, he has to do this. Don't shake anyone's hand on the way to the bima. If someone comes to, hey, how are you? Say, sorry, my hands are just like on Shabbat when you do Netilah HaMotzi and someone says, hey, why you feel comfortable to do? Everybody knows. He's a Kohen. Everybody knows his hands needs to be clean when you go up there. You shouldn't touch. Halacha says, Yadayim askaniot. Our hands are travelers. Without noticing, you touch here, you touch there, you scratch. There's so many things require you to wash your hands. So the Kohen should not touch anybody's hands. And once he washed his hands, he should continue. Okay, so I think then the time is up. Bezrat Hashem. Chazak ubaruch, Rabotai. Great seeing you all. See you next week. Bezrat Hashem.
Isaac,
Bye.
thank you.
Bye.
Everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ziv.
Ciao, Ziv. Bye bye.